the first strikeout of the year for Ashley Chu. That was her 90th at bat, and that is the first time that Chu has gone down swinging or called. And so for Miskey, it's strikeout number 1.
If anyone was going to do it, it was going to be Lexi Miskey. That's her 83rd strikeout of the year. By far is the top in the conference so far this year.
First pitch is high and inside to Paige Nellis. Nellis, the senior, the right fielder for the Emory Eagles. Emory comes into this game in 24 games with 16 wins. They are 16-8 on the year. Second pitch is a swing and a miss. Nellis way behind on that. Nellis on the year hitting .485. Between Ashley Chu and Paige Nellis, the top 2 hitters in the lineup, they are the leader in nearly every offensive category for the Eagles this year.
And this Emory team has so many players hitting over 300 right now. It's certainly going to be a tough challenge for the Spartans. If they can start this game off by retiring the first couple batters, especially you mentioned Chu on the strikeout, now Nellis, and they'll have to face Elizabeth Zur and Grace Cooper here coming up very soon. This will be a huge boost for their defense.
It's ball 3. Emory on the year. In 24 games, they have scored 172 runs. And when you compare that to what the Spartans have done, the Spartans have 19 wins. They have only scored 135. But Case Western has relied on their pitching. That 3-1 pitch is inside for a strike, counts now full.
Yeah, but they're coming off the game that they scored the most on the season with 14 last Sunday. So when we get to see them bat, they might have some momentum coming into this weekend.
3 balls, 2 strikes to the number 2 hitter, Paige Nellis. We're in the top half of the first inning here from Mather Park, a Friday afternoon single game, and that's a changeup outside. It's ball 4. That defense for Case looks like this. In the outfield from left field to right, it's Stevie Rieger in left, the senior, Kella Jagoda, the senior in center, Nyla Durham, the first-year player in right field. In the infield from third base to first base. At third base, it's Biz Berry, the sophomore. The first-year player, Karen Potts, is at shortstop. The senior, Kai Gross, at second. And the junior, Bella Russo, is at first base. Behind the plate, fly ball, left field, sends Stevie Rieger back, and that is a home run. That is a 2-run home run for Ellie Zaire.
And that would look good off the bat. That's that solid contact that some of these hitters dream of. And Zaire, that is a big play to get Emory sparked here early. 2-run shot, and it was a long one.
She got every bit of that softball. Zaire, on the season, leads the team. That's her 6th home run. She also leads the team in runs batted in, knocking in 2 there. That's 41. No one's even close to her on RBI. The next one is Ella Hoyle, and Hoyle with 27.
Number 12, Grace Cooper.
So not the start the Spartans or their starting pitcher Lexi Miskey was hoping for, but the best thing about a home run is the bases are clear. There's nobody on. You can start anew. And Miskey's first pitch is in for a strike. This is Grace Cooper, the cleanup hitter. First-year player, a second baseman for the Emory Eagles. Cooper on the year hitting .362. There are 6 hitters in the 9-hitter lineup for Emory that are hitting 300 or above. 2 400 or above, and 1, the leadoff hitter, Ashley Chu, hitting .557. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. 2 runs in for Emory. Top half of the first inning. Miskey coming into the afternoon game. 18th appearance on the season. This is her 13th start, and she is at 11-2 so far this year. That's an inside jam job. Biz Berry, strong throw. And Bella Russo with a circus stretch at first base.
She nearly did the splits to get that one. And you can see everyone on the Emory side thought she was going to be called safe, and there's a discussion going on about it. But that flexibility was huge for Russo there to be able to keep that back foot on the bag.
The coach for Emory, India Childs, is out to discuss whether or not Russo came off the bag. So they'll check with the base umpire.
And maybe checking, too, to see if this was a foul ball, if that was in play on that first bounce.
And they'll stick with the call on the field, which was out. So Cooper's out at first on a ground ball to Biz Berry. That's the second out of the inning. And Ella Hoyle now comes to the plate. Hoyle, the number 5 hitter in this Emory lineup. First baseman, sophomore. Miskey on the mound trying to get her 12th win of the year. That's a changeup, and it's a beauty. That's strike one. The Spartans, as a team, trying to win their 20th. They are 19-2 coming into this afternoon's game.
Ron, you go back to last year, this was a team that only had 2 losses in UAA play in the Spartans, and both of them came down in Atlanta to Emory.
At the beginning of the year.
That's right, very early, too.
I think it was the first weekend of UAA play.
That's right. And that first UAA game was a 4-5 victory for Emory. They would end up playing 3 games, 2 wins for the Eagles, 1 for the Spartans.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ella Hoyle. So to start in the hole, so to speak, for Case Western a year ago, especially in UAA play, they certainly responded well.
And you go back to 2 years ago, too, the last time the Eagles were up here at Mather Park. The Spartans.
That is a foul ball down the right field line.
And the Spartans, last time they were here, swept them 4 games, and that was a weekend they hit 12 home runs as well. So we might see some fireworks on the other side if the Spartans can keep that up.
We'll see how warm the weather gets. I think it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow and even warmer on Sunday, but right now it is not toasty. That team a year ago for Case tied a school record, a program record for most wins in a single season when they won 38 games. They were 38-5 when it was all said and done a year ago. And as Sar pointed out, those 2 losses in Atlanta early in the year, that was it. They were 17-2 in UAA play. Miskey, change up inside at strike 3. So we head to the bottom of the first. It was a 2-run inning for Emory. A 2-run home run by Ellie Zaire, and it's 2-0 Eagles as we head to the bottom half of the first. Bottom half of the first inning, the Spartans' first appearance at the plate. Kella Jagoda, the senior center fielder, the leadoff hitter for Josie Henry. Jagoda in her pullover. It is a cold day here at Mather Park. Game time temperature in the low 40s, but with the wind, it definitely feels like winter. Strike one to Dakota. Mackenzie Duford, the pitcher in the circle for the Emory Eagles. Duford with her 14th appearance this year. She has 8 wins and 3 losses. Checks her wristband. Here comes the second offering. That's in the right-handed batter's box. It's ball 1. Emory's defense looks like this. In left field, Natalie Swift, the senior. In center field, Ashley Chu, the sophomore. In right field, it's Paige Nellis, a senior. Left to right in the infield, at third base, Sonia Klein, a first-year player. Kayla Lang, the juniors, at shortstop. The 1-1 pitch is low. It's ball 2. At second base, it's Grace Cooper, first-year player. Ella Hoyle, a sophomore, at first base. And behind the plate, it's Lillian Ware, a first-year player. If you look at the 9 that are out there, there are 3 that are first-year players and 3 sophomores. So 6 of the 9 are either first-year or second-year players for this Emory Eagles softball team. India Childs is the first-year head coach, and she is putting her imprint on the program already. Looking at the youth, going with the youth in this first year, leading the Eagles. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. You go to the leadoff hitter. And that was a tough pitch to take. That looked right down the middle. I was waiting for the umpire to signal strike 3. Must have been low. Now, obviously, Jagoda's got a better view of it than we do. Full count. That's a little flare, and that's an easy out for the third baseman, Sonia Klein.
That was an interesting weekend for Kella Jagoda last week. Couldn't really find a consistent rhythm. So I know she got that pop out right there, but when she comes back, she's really looking to have a different type of day here today, especially helping out her first-year shortstop, Karen Potts.
Well, speaking of rhythm or, being in a good way right now, prime example, the Spartan in the left-handed batter's box, Potts. She has been outstanding. Potts on the year leads the team in hitting. She's over 400. She's at 413 with 31 hits and 75 at-bats.
Yeah, Potts had a big weekend, had 2 home runs, was on base in every game, all 4 of those games against NYU, and was a huge part of the Spartans sweeping the Violets.
Working inside, strike 1 on Potts. If you're the pitcher and you can keep a hitter like Potts from extending her arms, if you can jam her inside like that, that's where you want to live. Two balls, 1 strike. 4 games here this weekend between the Spartans and the Eagles. 1 tonight here on Friday afternoon. 2 tomorrow on Saturday and 1 on Sunday.
Yeah, Ron, you mentioned it for Duford so far has been a good at-bat against Potts. If she can just keep her from getting a hittable pitch, that would be the goal here.
Turned it over, and that's an easy out to the first baseman. So the corner infielders have made both outs so far. That's Ella Hoyle with the unassisted out at first. Potts is down, 2 outs, and Kai Gross, the senior, stepping to the plate. You look at what Duford's done this year. She, in 61 innings pitched, has struck out 46, but she's walked 30. Earned run average is at 2.98. She has gotten the first 2 Spartans here in the first inning. Kai Gross on the year, having a real nice year. She has had a real nice 4 years for Coach Josie Henry. Kai's hitting .382. Fly ball, left field, under it, and the third out of the inning is in the glove of the senior, Natalie Swift. We head to the top of the second. It's Emory 2, Spartans nothing. We'll be back. Miskey and her mates outside the circle there
Leading off
in the
top
Spartan
of the second
infield.
inning for Emory, number 33, Sonia Klein.
Sonia Klein will lead off the top half of the second for Emory. Klein, the third baseman, one of the 3 first-year players in this starting lineup for India Childs. Strike one, Miskey to her catcher, Caitlin Lamb. Sonia Klein on the year, 273 at the plate. She's got 11 runs batted in. She's hit 1 home run. We have seen a home run already this afternoon. The top half of the first as strike 2 is taken. It was Ellie Zaire, the number 3 hitter for Emory. Zaire hit it over the tee in Mather Park on the left field fence. The 0-2 pitch.
That's that ball Miskey likes on these 1-2, 0-2 counts. She likes to go high and force these batters to swing on the rise ball. That was almost like a check swing there on the foul ball, and it was close.
Miskey's catcher is Caitlin Lamb, the mechanical and aerospace engineering major. Scoreboard is out, but it's a 0-2 pitch. And this one's high and away. It's 1-2. Miskey with a smile on her face. Lexi on the year has been, well, just as good this year as she has been in her first year and her second year. In 73 innings, she's got 100 strikeouts. She's walked 32. She's hit 7. Fly ball, right field. Durham with the wind. And Nyla pulls it in. So the first-year player with the first out of the inning.
Yeah, you can see Durham had to redirect to get that ball, and that's this powerful lake effect wind we've got going on here today. Again, going left to right here. So against that side, it's really going to force the right fielders for both teams to be on top of it.
This is Kayla Lang, the shortstop for Emory. Lang, a junior, facing Miskey, the junior. And Miskey starts her out with a strike. Lexi's done a great job of first pitch strikes. She has gotten ahead in the count. And for a pitcher who at times has struggled with her control, it's extremely important. Get up early. Comes the 0-1 pitch. Right down the middle, that's strike 2. It'll be interesting to see what the 0-2 pitch is, because in the first 2 pitches, Miskey is clearly overpowering Lang.
This is a time she could take a look at that changeup. We saw a called strike in the first inning.
Throws another fastball. That one jammed her, and that's Russo. Comes down the first base line and records a second out of the inning.
Now batting, number 14, Lillian Ware.
Spartans with 2 outs. Sunshine out for just a moment. Sky is a mix of blue and white clouds. We've had a mix of rain and snow today. I think it's supposed to be that way most of the weekend, although the temperature is supposed to get a little bit warmer. Monday, of course, here in northeastern Ohio, all across the world, but specifically here in northeastern Ohio, the total eclipse. There are people from all over the world coming to northeastern Ohio this weekend because the totality of the eclipse is going to happen right here in our backyard.
Yeah, 100% for nearly 30 minutes potentially.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Lexi Miskey trying to get out of this top half of the second inning. Has really made just 1 mistake so far. It cost her 2 runs. And that was a fastball in the first inning to Ellie Zaire, who hit it for a 2-run home run. Lillian Ware, the catcher. Back of the box, facing an 0-2 count. Miskie's pitch didn't get her to chase. Sar, when you were a hitter, did you like a high fastball? Was that something that?
It's the number one thing you gotta not chase.
Yeah.
Is that high fastball, and again, that's something that Lexi Miskey, loves as a pitcher too, because it's the easiest, it's the most tempting pitch, I should say, to go after.
Miskey backed Ware off the plate that time. Counts even at 2. So she backed her off. Let's see if she works her outside now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Emory's got 2 runs in. They scored in the first inning. Here comes the pitch. Ware doing a nice job of battling at the plate.
There's these sort of situations where if you do get that high fastball, if you're sitting on it and you can make solid contact, you could get a really good hit off and get one deep into the outfield. So if the batter's on the same page as the pitcher, it could be a dangerous situation the other way around as well.
One more time, Miskey trying to get Ware. Ware waited on it and hit it foul to Biz Berry. Berry behind the bag, and we'll do it again. Emory comes in 16-8 on the year. They are 2-2 in University Athletic Association play. On the road, they're real good. They've played 6 games and won 5. And they're up 2-0 early here at Mather Park. Little floater over the middle. Potts on one hop. Got rid of it quick, and Russo held on to it. Potts to Russo. Miskey gets him. We head to the bottom half of the second. It's Emory 2, Case Western Reserve yet to score. Bottom half of the second inning, Spartans looking for their first hit of the game. They'll bring Stevie Rieger to the plate, their senior left fielder. Rieger having a great 4th year. Change up high and inside. Mackenzie Duford on the mound for Emory. Her battery mate is Lillian Ware. Rieger, the biochemistry major here at Case Western, is hitting an even 400 in 21 games.
Yeah, had a great weekend last week here against NYU. And that last game was 2 for 3 and drove in 2 runs as well. But right now the Spartans need to get somebody on base.
They went 1, 2, and 3 in the first inning. Pop up to third, unassisted play at first base, and a soft fly ball to left. Rieger, pop up near the dugout and off the metal roof. If anybody in that Spartan dugout was starting to nod off a little bit here in the afternoon cold, they got an alarm clock ring. When that ball hits that metal roof and you're inside that dugout, it shakes your brain. There are a lot of brains in that dugout too. 2-1 pitch is low and inside. Rieger has worked the count to 3-1. Stevie from Napoleon, Ohio. And that is on the outside corner for strike 2. Counts now full. Rieger on the year, 24 hits. 7 of those 24 are doubles and 3 are home runs. She, along with Kai Gross, leads this team in home runs. Both have 3. Spartans looking for, just as Sar said, just a base hit. 3-2 pitch, little flare over the second baseman, and there's the hit. So Rieger did a nice job of going with the pitch. It was an off-speed pitch. She stayed back, just floated the bat head down and hit it over the second baseman's head.
Yeah, and that's what they needed. Get somebody on base. You got a very strong lineup in the Spartans. You look at some of these next hitters. I mean, Elena Steffes in the weekend that she had last week here as well. And you can just help some of those younger players out, and that'll really start to open up their offense.
Steffes at the plate is hitting .385. So Rieger is on first, and she can steal it. She has attempted 12 stolen bases. She's got 11. First pitch looking is called strike 1. Rieger off and running, and it's a tight throw, and Rieger's called safe at second base. Well, that throw went right into the area of the sliding Stevie Rieger.
The Spartan team, that's their 61st stolen base on the year in 69 attempts. They're so good at timing it, and it's very difficult to get them out when they do, especially some of these speedy players like Rieger, Kylie Gross, who are so good at that.
So Rieger's in scoring position, and Steffes, who can hit it, is at the plate. The 1-1 pitch is on the outside corner for strike 2. Steffes is a first-year player out of Findlay, Ohio, Findlay High School, where she was real good. She set school records in both doubles and home runs in a single season. She had 31 and 14. Jammed again. That is one place, at least in the first inning and, into the second here, that Mackenzie Duford's living inside. She's living inside on all the Spartan hitters.
And I've gotten a couple pop-outs, ground-outs because of that. It's what she might want to go back to here, especially on a 1-2 count. Runners in scoring position, you can't give up a base hit here.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And Steffes with a long fly ball out into the street there. Sorry, what street is that? Right behind Mather Park.
I believe this is Magnolia. I'm going to be honest, I walked here today, so I didn't catch that street sign.
Sarge just knows where to turn. Duford, 1-2 pitch, jam job again. Little flare, tough one. The spin on that one coming down was going to be real hard for Kayla Lang to handle, and she could not, and that's an infield single. The way that ball came off the bat on the jam shot on the inside part of that bat just put a spin on it that once it hit the ground, once it hit the dirt, it was going to be tough to handle.
Yeah, you certainly did not know where that ball was going. You could see Stevie Rieger on second was watching it thinking it might even hit her.
So Steffes is on at first, Rieger's at second, and this is Biz Berry, the sophomore third baseman at the plate. Berry shows bunt, drops a bunt. He's going to move the runners. Rieger thought about coming home. They're going to throw behind her, and everybody's safe. So Berry gets the job done. Sack 5-3. 5-4, the second baseman covering. And that's the first out of the inning.
Number 11, Bella Russo.
It's a good position now for Bella Russo as well. You've got 2 runners, just 1 out, and you can really go after this pitch here or whatever you get in this at-bat, really.
So this is Russo, a .308 hitter on the season. Bella with 22, actually take that back, 22 total bases, 8 runs batted in. She'd like to get 9 and 10 in this at-bat. That's strike 1. Russo, the junior. She's another one of those Spartan players that seems that she's been here 5, maybe 6 years. She's just been that solid, that important to the success over the last 3 years. Inside pitch is called for strike 2.
And she picked up some rhythm on her season as well last week and came into that weekend against NYU hitting right around 275, came out of the weekend hitting over 300. She's at, as you mentioned, 308 today. So she wants to continue that.
Mackenzie Duford's 0-2 pitch. Russo swings at it, and they've got Rieger caught up. Rieger in a pickle between third and home. Everybody's going to move up. Rieger's going to slide, and she's safe. They missed the tag. Duford missed the tag, and Rieger, with a head-first slide, got that left hand in there.
Not an out. Not a hit either.
So Stevie Rieger, without a prayer, threw one up, and it was answered. She was caught in the middle of, nowhere to go.
Incredible base running, too. The time that get between players coming from everywhere to cover, and I don't know how she avoided the tag there.
Russo ends up at second. She's at second. Steffes is at third. There's one out. And this is Caitlin Lamb, the catcher at the plate, and inside again goes Duford. And that one's called a ball.
It's the same situation now. Lamb has a lot of freedom in this at-bat to go after these pitches once again, same way that Russo did.
Caitlin Lamb on the year, just 5 runs batted in, but she's hit 2 home runs. She has home run power, and that's outside for ball 2. Caitlin on the year, just 13 hits in her 21 games, and 3 of those hits are for extra bases. One ball, no strikes, 1 out. Spartans down a run. We're in the bottom of the second. And that is on the outside corner. That's a strike.
2-1.
Strike 1. Lamb, the number 8 hitter in this Josie Henry lineup. Changeup, and it was a beauty. And that's a called strike for strike 2.
Yeah, the way that ball moved into the top of the strike zone there, that was incredible.
Lamb going to tighten it up now. Counts even at 2. Line drive left field. Will chase the left fielder all the way to the wall. 2 runs will score on this. Steffes is in. Russo checks in. And in at second base with a 2-strike, 2-run double is Caitlin Lamb.
That puts the Spartans on top, and that's for Lamb just the second double and just the 4th extra base hit of the year, but it comes at a great time. And the Spartans needed that. Suddenly it feels like a different ball game.
It is 3-2. Case Western with the lead. They have 3 hits in this inning. They've scored 3 runs, and they're not done.
My guess is it's Sav, but we'll see.
Nyla Durham will come to the plate for Case Western.
Yeah, that's Jordan. No,
Maybe.
maybe number 4.
Looks like Jordan Manwarren's going to pinch hit for her.
So Manwarren will hit for Durham. Durham, the right fielder.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please. Now batting for Case Western Reserve, number 4, Jordan Manwarren.
Jordan on the year at the plate is hitting 200. She has 15 plate appearances in the first 21 games. Manwarren, the senior catcher. Her and Caitlin Lamb. Jordan with a chance to add the 4th run of the inning. And that is strike 1. You can see the wind on the pant legs of the umpire. at home plate. It's a strong wind down there in the field. You can see it in straightaway center in the flags on the flagpole. If you're a fan in the stands, you are a true fan today, because it is not a comfortable environment here at Mather Park.
We had the sun for about 2 seconds there, you mentioned, Ron, and it doesn't look like we're going to see it the rest of the evening.
Next pitch, that's a shot to left center field, and it's off the top of the wall. Manwarren will check in with a double. Scoring for the Spartans is Lamb, and it's 4-2, Case Western.
How about that? Back-to-back doubles for the two catchers, Lamb and Manwarren. They've doubled up on the Eagles now. Moments ago, we were talking about the Spartans just getting on base, and this is how quick their offense can explode.
You know, when Rieger came to the plate to lead off the inning, that's exactly what you said, Sar. They just need to start with one runner.
And the only out they have was on a sacrifice bunt as well. Their offense is clicking right now.
Top of the order, it's Jagoda. Runner at second. With the RBI is Manwarren. Jordan. That run batted in for Jordan on the year was her third. That was her second double. Outside pitch. Called strike two. So Jagoda, who came into today hitting .324 in the leadoff spot, popped out to the third baseman in her first at bat. 4 hits, 4 runs in this inning for the Spartans.
Duford's going to want to get back to some of those inside pitches, Ron, that you mentioned earlier. We're jamming up some of these Spartan batters. That's what really helped her out in the first inning, and hasn't had a lot of opportunity to go back to him here, but this might be a good opportunity on a 1-2 pitch.
Kella Jagoda at the plate. Here comes the pitch. It's outside. Jagoda goes with it. It's going to be a tough play. Jagoda is safe at first, play at third, and everybody's in there.
How about the timing, too, for Manwarren? After that throw comes off, Jagoda beat it with speed, and then Manwarren taking off when there's not enough time to get that ball all the way back to third.
So when Jagoda hit that in the gap between third and short, you knew it was going to be a tough play, especially when you have a batter in the box like Jagoda who hits out of the left side.
And just how fast she is in general, too. We talk about stolen bases for the Spartans, and she's one of the first that you would guess would go for it on any given at-bat. And she's a type of player that is confident that she can beat those throws at nearly any time that she goes towards third, shortstop, anywhere in that area.
So this is Karen Potts, just finished with her conference with Josie Henry, her coach. The left-handed hitting shortstop's going to step into the batter's boxes as arguably one of the top first-year players in the entire country this year in Division III. She has been that good. She plays the premium position at shortstop. She's a strong hitter. She hits second in the lineup for head coach Josie Henry. And she has had a hit in every game but one this year, I think.
That's right.
Throw down to second. Everybody's safe.
And Manwarren's going to go home.
And it's an error that leads to a run. So Jordan comes in on it. Jagoda with the stolen base.
And this might be a more lengthy conversation now. 5 runs here in the bottom of the second, still just 1 out.
India Childs is the head coach of this Emory team. Got the job in August, late in the summer. She's got a great history as a softball player. Played in the SEC, played for Tennessee. Ran a business teaching people how to slap hit. As a matter of fact, I have 3 daughters, and coaching all 3 of them through the years in softball, one of the DVDs that I bought was from the Volunteers of Tennessee on how to slap hit, because they were that good as a program. And she's a product of that program, and she's leading this Emory Eagles team. And talking to Coach Henry actually last week about the UAA, she was saying what she thought, what a great job that Childs had already started to do in her short time at Emory. New coach, new direction, and Coach Henry was very complimentary of India Childs.
And they've had a great start to this year, facing the toughest challenge so far in this Spartan team.
So Potts with a 1-1 count. There's one out. 5 runs are in for the Spartans in this second inning. Turned on it. What a play. What a play by Ella Hoyle at first base. Karen Potts hit a rope on one hop to Hoyle, and if she doesn't get that, that goes all the way down to the 190 sign, bounces around the corner. Potts has at least a double and maybe a triple.
And certainly it would be another run coming home, so if they can leave Jagoda on third here, if you're the Eagles, that play right there saves you another run.
I'm not sure that Ella Hoyle knew she had it until she had it. I mean, it was behind her when she caught it. Ground ball through the hole. That's a base hit. And coming in to score for the Spartans will be Jagoda. And Kai Gross with another RBI.
And I know we talked about it a little bit last weekend, but for Kai Gross, this is now 15 straight games with a base hit.
Well, she also leads the team in runs batted in. That's number 26.
Now batting number 20, Stevie Rieger.
And Rieger hitting for the second time this inning. Started the inning with a base hit to right field, stole a base, scored, and she's back up for the second time. It's a 6-run Spartan inning. Oof. Rieger turned on that one. That is a long way foul.
She's lucky Duford is that ball was as inside as it was, because Rieger was ready to go for that.
Stevie Rieger on the year has some power. She's got 7 doubles and 3 home runs. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Running on it was Gross. It's fouled back. Everybody will start again. Kai Gross down there at first base on the year. As far as stealing bases, it's not bad. 13 attempts, 11 successful.
Yeah, and I would be surprised to see if she doesn't go for another one right here.
Well, it's an 0-2 count, and typically the pitcher's going to throw something that's not nice and hoping that the hitter will go after a bad pitch. So it's a good pitch to steal on, and Gross is off to steal, and that pitch is hard to handle inside. And Kai Gross is at second base with an easy stolen base, her 12th of the year.
Yeah, exactly what you said, Ron. A tough pitch to handle not only for the batter but also for the catcher, and that's what Kylie Gross took advantage of there.
So Gross in scoring position for Rieger. Rieger, the senior. If you look at this Spartan team, you got Jagoda and you've got Rieger, both seniors. And that's a fly ball to right field, the third out of the inning. But what an inning it was. The second inning is in the books. The Spartans have 6 hits and 6 runs, all in the same inning. We head to the top of the third. It's 6-2, Case Western.
Your attention, please. Now playing right field.
The golden voice of Otto Penica, the Hall of Famer, public address announcer here at Mather Park, announcing that Elena Steffes is now in right field. We were also complimenting Otto in between innings. The Spartan infielders and outfielders were doing some sort of a dance to stay warm, and Otto is actually given a contract by the softball program, one of those supplementals, to teach dance. And his students have learned very well because they're very good at it.
Yeah, they are. They've had a lot of practice, I will say, over the last couple of years. Like Cotton Eye Joe has sort of become their song.
You know, Otto grew up in a family. I think he was the 14th of 15 kids, and in order to eat, Otto had to dance for his supper. So he learned early and learned well. Everything that I say about what happens on the softball field is the absolute truth. The other things, there's some, drama or embellishment to them. Although I think Otto could be
I think he has the talent.
a good dance instructor.
Hey, he's a Hall of Famer for a reason.
The 1-1 pitch from Miskey is right down the middle of the plate, and that is strike one. This is Natalie Swift, the number 9 hitter, in India Childs' lineup. The 1-2 pitch from Miskey. Try to get Swift to chase that one high and outside. Natalie on the year, 265 hitter. She has started in 16 of the 24 games for the Emory Eagles. Swift is the left fielder. I wonder if it's coincidence or planned that Swift wears number 13, because that's Taylor Swift's favorite number. And I don't know if Natalie Swift is any relation. I doubt it, because otherwise we definitely know about it. But, well, I'm a father of 3 daughters, so I know stuff like that. I am a Swiftie. The entire press box is stunned that I knew number 13 was Taylor Swift's favorite number. You know, those are those little eggs that Taylor leaves in all of her albums and her songs. Listen, if we want to wax about Taylor Swift, I can. We can go on. Went and saw her this summer in Cincinnati. Me, my wife, my 3 daughters, my future daughter-in-law, and my son. It was a whole crew. No, we did not rob a bank to get the money to pay for those tickets. We actually, the kids are so smart, they can get them online right away when they go up for sale. And, you know, the $75 ticket is a $75 ticket, not a $750 ticket later in the week. I'll get off my soapbox about secondary market ticket sales. It's a big weekend. It's 2 balls, 1 strike here in Cleveland because the Final Four is here. The Final Four in women's college basketball tonight, 2 games. The nightcap, you got Iowa and UConn. UConn was here this week, practiced at the Veal Center. Our Case women got a chance to watch practice. I think UConn has won 11 national championships, and I think in Gino's career they've been to 23 or 24 Final Fours. So to have a team like that, a program like that come into your gym as they did here this week at Case Western, that had to be a thrill for Coach Reimer. Jennifer Reimer, the head coach, and that's strike 3. That's a Miskey strikeout. Ashley Chu looked at it, and that's her second appearance at the plate and second strikeout this afternoon here at Mather Park.
Yeah, it's back-to-back strikeouts for Miskey, and that's her 4th of the day. It's back to the usual for her in the circle.
Paige Nellis now at the plate. Nellis, the number 2 hitter in this lineup for Emory. Line drive to Potts. Potts one up across the field to Russo, and that's a play that deserves a couple of glove slaps. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. Spartans up 6-2.
The bottom of third inning for your Spartans. Number 25, Elena Steffes.
We head to the bottom half of the third inning.
Yep.
And this is Elena Steffes who will come to the plate. Steffes had a base hit. It was an infield base hit to the shortstop in that 6-run second inning. Duford looks into her coach. Here comes the pitch. High and inside, it's ball one. Mackenzie Duford on the season came into today in 61 innings pitched. She had struck out 46, walked 30, and given up 26 earned runs. She is by far the top pitcher on this Emory Eagles team as she is up in the count 1-2 to Steffes. 8 wins, 3 losses, an earned run average 2.98. Won't be the only time this weekend in 4 games over the next 3 days that we'll see Duford pitch. 1-2 pitch, a changeup that just screwed Steffes into the dirt. She had no opportunity. She just kind of like waved at that one. That's a beautiful pitch by Mackenzie Duford.
And it was good timing on that pitch, too, because we saw the heat on the fastball right before that got Steffes swinging and then getting her to chase a changeup in the same spot. That was a great pitch by Duford.
That was Duford's first strikeout of the game. Biz Berry at the plate. Berry sacrificed. She put a bunt down, fielded by the third baseman. She was out at first, but she moved the first 2 runners, Rieger and Steffes, over into scoring position, and then the gates just opened after that. Those 2 came in, plus 4 other, and before you knew it, it was 6-2 after 2 innings. The 1-0 pitch, line drive, 1 hop, nice play by the second baseman. Grace Cooper with a nice play, and they get the out at first, although it wasn't as easy as it looked, and we have 2 outs in the inning.
Yeah, this is a huge inning for the Eagles. They need to kill the Spartans' momentum that they built up over that 6-run inning. If they can go 1-2-3 right here, then they're suddenly back into the game, and it feels different when their offense gets to go.
Bella Russo's at the plate. First baseman. Scored a run in that 6-run second. Bell on the year just hitting above 300. She's at 308. Russo's from Amherst, New York. She has called Cleveland home for the last 3 softball springs. She's been wildly successful. She hit 357 in her first year. She hit 339 last year. She's over 300 again this year.
And has played a lot of different positions in the field and has been great today on first.
Just kind of flicked her wrist and dropped the bat head on that outside offering. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Russo, line drive, caught by the shortstop. Right at Kayla Lang. We head to the top half of the 4th. It's 6-2, Case Western. Ron Janssen, Sarzucci, along with you here for softball today at Mather Park. We will be here all weekend. Sar and I have pitched our tent. I brought the marshmallows. He brought the Hershey chocolate bars. And Fast Eddie Carrick has brought the graham crackers. So we're ready for s'mores. That caught the attention of Otto. Pitch the 10, Otto. Join us. We're going to cut some branches off one of the trees here to start a little fire. Don't tell TJ, the athletic director. Yeah, it could be spring trimming. We could be saving the university some money. Don't have to hire the tree company to do it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Miskie's changeup. I think, and it goes for a ball, but man, it was real good. I think this is the first time I've seen Lexi really have confidence in that changeup. And I think it's the best I've seen her throw it.
Yeah, she's certainly gotten better at it over the course of this season. If you go back the last couple of years, it seemed like it was fastball, try and get those strikeouts.
That's Biz Berry settling under the soft pop-up in the infield. That's the first out. That was Ellie Zaire that hit it.
Now batting, number 12, Grace.
And that's a big out, too, because Zaire hit that home run, her 6th of the season in the first inning, and then to retire 9 straight batters now for Lexi Miskey.
Grace Cooper was a ground out, victim to Berry, her first at bat. Yeah, Miskey would take that fastball and she would locate it. And she, the strength with the fastball was her ability to make it rise. So she would change the hitter's, eye level with the location and the rise ball and never really used effectively, I think, or with confidence the changeup. But I have been impressed in this game with her ability to do that. And if Lexi Miskey can get a changeup that she is confident in, that she could throw at any point in the count, in any situation in the game, she's already one of the top pitchers. Has been, actually, not already. She has been the top pitcher in the UAA the last 2 years, and on her way to probably a 3rd UAA Pitcher of the Year notation. But, man, if she mixes in that changeup with confidence, this team could do some stuff in the postseason tournament. That's right back at her. Miskey with a smile gives a thumb up to the hitter, says, "I'm okay," and that's the 2nd out of the inning. Cooper hit it right back at her.
21, Ella Hoyle.
Ella Hoyle now steps to the plate. Those are the kind of line drives, and that was a soft one that she caught. And, when you get those in the glove and not, in your arm or your thigh or up against your forehead, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's almost a relief.
Yeah, you relieve. Yeah, you exhale.
And on top of that, it's a tough play to make, that ball coming straight at you. And there's that changeup you mentioned, Ron.
Starting that at bat with a changeup.
Yeah, I think that comes down to confidence, too. That's not something we would have seen certainly 2 years ago and probably not last year either. But if she can, as you mentioned, if she can go to it any pitch in the count, it certainly changes how batters are going to have to approach.
Well, that's a nice piece of hitting for a base hit, but a play at first, and they got her! What a play! Line drive to right field, and there's an out at first base. And we head to the bottom of the 4th. Spartans up 4. It's 6-2. Bottom of the fourth. Game starting to move along. Caitlin Lamb, the catcher, will step into the right-handed batter's box. Lamb had a double. Knocked in 2 in that 6-run second inning. Emory scored all their runs in the first inning. They scored them with one swing of the bat. It was a 2-run home run by their number 3 hitter, Ellie Zaire. And then the Spartans scored all 6 of theirs in the second. And that's been it. The 1-0 pitch. Inside for ball 2.
Yeah, Lamb doubled in her first at bat. She's a hitter who has a lot of power. Ron, you mentioned she has 2 home runs on the season. Now ahead in the count, too. Might get the green light to go for one of these here.
Caitlin Lamb from Bolingbrook, Illinois. Takes the 2-0 pitch for ball 3. Umpire kind of brought his right arm up a little. I didn't know if he was coming all the way up with it. So it's a 3-0 count to Lamb. Three-one pitch, and it's a strike. Count is full. Duford has battled back. She was down on the count to Lamb 3-0, and now she's 1 strike away for an out.
Yeah, Duford would love to have her second strikeout of the game here. Again, start another inning by keeping the Spartans off base.
So Lamb with the walk.
Jordan's still in. Number 4. She's still in. We'll see.
And for Caitlin on the year, that is her 6th base on balls, in case you're wondering. Jagoda, the leadoff hitter, leads the team with 14.
I think she's just putting her back in.
So this is Jordan Manwarren at the plate. Manwarren with her
Number 3 is running.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please.
hoodie on. It's a hoodie kind of day.
First base.
It's a sweater pullover with a hoodie kind of day here at Mather Park.
Now batting for the Spartans, number 4, Jordan Manwarren.
Jordan hit a double. It was the second double in a row. Lamb hit a double, scored 2. Then Jordan hit a double and scored 1. Drops a bunt. It's a beauty. In front of the plate. Nice play. Nice play by that Emory defense. Lillian Ware came out from behind the plate. Grace Cooper slid over from her second base slot and covered the bag at first. And Emory gets the out.
And 1 out, you're back to the top of your lineup with a runner on second. This is a good spot the Spartans would like to be in, and they can certainly continue to go after some of these. The bunts have come at interesting times for the Spartans, both with no outs, so they've been ahead when they've gotten a chance to advance their runners. They've been in control, it feels like, since that second inning.
The evolution and the progress of Kella Jagoda over the years here at Case Western, and she's now a senior. Jagoda came into today hitting .324. 2 years ago, she hit just .164. Last year, starting in every game, all 43 at center field, she hit .326. Her first year here, she broke out of, being a rookie player and hit .414, but then that second year, Played in all 42, just really struggled at the plate. They're going to have to replace her next year in center field.
They're going to have a tough time. They're going to have to replace a number of the starters that they have. You talk about last year, they only had to replace 2 starters. So for the most part, it's the same lineup. And it really has been majority the same lineup the last 3 seasons for the Spartan team, including this year. So next year will be a lot different and very interesting to see how Coach Henry approaches that.
Well, there's some good news. I've heard through the grapevine that Kai Gross is going to come back and play her 5th year. So if you look at today's starting lineup, there are 3 seniors out there. Rieger in left, Jagoda in center, and Gross at second base. So they'll lose just 2 of the 9 in today's starting lineup.
Now batting, number 12, Karen Potts.
Runners at first and second. Potts, the number 2 hitter. Both runners via the free pass so far here in the 4th inning. Spartans up 6-2. They've got 6 hits. They've scored 6 runs. Emory with just 1 hit. Lexi Miskey is throwing a 1-hitter. And the next time she comes out, it'll be the 5th inning.
And the only hit was that home run as well. It's the only reason Emory's on the board.
First pitch swinging. Potts down 0-1 on the count. Potts in 21 games, 21 starts. 19 runs batted in, 2 home runs, 7 doubles, a triple. She's only struck out 2 times in 77 at-bats. And she's got a rocket for her right arm from her shortstop spot. Turns it over again. And that is the 3rd time in this game that it has been 3 unassisted for Karen Potts. That one she was just way out in front on.
Now batting, number 17, Kylie Gross.
So 2 outs in the inning. Runners at second and third for Kai Gross. Gross has been clutch all year long.
Yeah, she's 1 for 2 on the day. You mentioned earlier that she leads the team in runs batted in, and with 2 runners in scoring positions, one of the last faces you want to see at the plate.
First pitch, outside corner for a strike.
Mentioned the hitting streak she's on. You go back to last week, she showed off some power the way she crushed a home run into right center as well. It was a week ago today.
Duford on the mound trying to get out of this inning. Next pitch to Kai is high and outside. That counts even at 1. Duford walking on a tightrope right now. She is a bad pitch away from a single and a 2-run scoring single and an 8-2 Spartan lead. Or she's a good pitch away from a ground out in the infield and heading to the top of the 5th. That's a nice pitch inside. It's called for strike 2. Mackenzie Duford from Seminole, Florida. Sophomore. The 1-2 pitch to Gross in the dirt. Nice job by her catcher, Lillian Ware.
Yeah, it's big as well, Ron. You mentioned 1 bad pitch, but a bad pitch will automatically send a runner home as well. With 2 outs, the Spartans are probably going to go for anything they can get.
Gross, that's a foul ball. Duford is used to tight situations. I mean, she has been an outstanding pitcher not only this year for the Emory Eagles, but a year ago as a first-year player out of high school. She started 23 games in the circle. She won 14. She was 14-8. Her inning total was nearly 160. Being in the circle is where she is most comfortable, I'm certain. The 2-2 pitch. And that's outside, counts full. 3-2 pitch is low. And Kai Gross is on her way to first base. For Gross, that is only her 4th walk on the year. She has over 70 plate appearances, and that is just her 4th walk.
Yeah, 4 walks and as well just 4 strikeouts. So it's contact with the bat pretty much every time she's up there.
Stevie Rieger, the cleanup hitter at the plate. The power-hitting left fielder. She could make it a 10-2 game with one swing of the bat. Rieger on the year has hit 3 home runs. Her and Gross have both hit 3. Potts has 2. Caitlin Lamb has 2. Rieger can take the team lead with 1 here.
And she had a home run last weekend. Again, another one of those players who's just gotten seemingly better and better every game this year.
Well, she's in a hitter's count right now. 2 balls, no strikes. Bases are loaded. She'll be looking for her pitch. And if she gets it, she'll swing at it. And I guess right down the middle was not her pitch. High changeup. It's ball 3.
A lot of movement on those changeups. That's a good one for Rieger to just don't chase that one.
Rieger led off the top half or the bottom half of the second with a single. She scored the first of 6 runs in that inning. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. Base hit right up the middle. It's going to score 2. Rieger thinking about second. She'll go into second. Heading over to third base all the way from first was Kai Gross, and scoring was Caitlin Lamb and Kella Jagoda. Stevie Rieger with a huge 2-out, bases loaded, base hit. So Coach Childs is making a change. It is yet to be announced. It's going to be a pitching change. And coming into pitch for Emory will be Isabella Cohn. Isabel Cohen, this will be her 11th appearance on the year. She wears number 22, and she's a lefty. Savannah Gazda will hit for Case Western.
Yeah, Gazda came in, pinch hit a couple times last weekend, drove in some runs as well. So with runners still on, the Spartans will continue to try and extend their lead.
So Gazda's going to hit in Steffes' spot. Steffes, the DP, who was playing right field, and made a great play to end the inning in the top half of this inning from right field.
Number 8, Savannah Gazda.
If you're just tuning in, we're in the bottom half of the 4th. The Spartans with a commanding 8-2 lead. Started out in favor of Emory, though. First inning, third batter, 2-run home run by Ellie Zaire. It was 2-0. We headed into the second inning, still 2-0. Then the Spartans scored 6 times on 6 hits in that bottom half of the second. Both teams were scoreless in the third. Emory went scoreless again in the fourth. Miskey, by the way, has given up just that 1 hit, the 2-run home run. And now the Spartans have scored 2 here in the bottom of the fourth, both with 2 outs. And there's the pitch to Gazda, and it's strike 1. Cohen on the year, 4.4 earned run average. She's 1 win, 1 loss. This is her 11th appearance. She's made only 4 starts, so most of her appearances have come in this form in relief. That pitch is behind Savannah Gosta. Nice job by Lillian Ware to snag it.
Yeah, and lucky that didn't hit her as well when you get a pitch that far off the mark.
One pitch inside, and that's a called strike, strike 2. Gazda on the year, 278 from the plate. This is only her 19th at bat of the season. But in those 19 at bats, she's got 4 runs batted in.
Yeah, again, 3 of those came last weekend, so she's in a rhythm too.
She can get 2 more here.
Yeah, base hit would do it. She's got 2 speedy runners as well, so it might not even have to be that far out of the infield.
Last year, the Spartan team, 38 wins. If they win today, they've got 20 in 22 games. And they're on their way, up 8-2 in the bottom half of the 4th. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Gazda, indecision, got her, swinging and missing, and we head to the top half of the 5th. But the Spartans get 2 more. It's 8-2. So we head to the top half of the 5th. And Lexi Miskey back in the circle again.
Off the top of the 5th inning for Emory, number 33, Sonia Klein.
Sonia Klein will lead it off, the third baseman. Miskey has retired 11 batters in a row. Gave up a 2-run home run to the third batter in the top half of the 1st, and nobody's gotten on since, and we're in the top half of the 5th. Klein, in her only at bat, flew out to right field.
Yeah, and these look like the type of games that Lexi Miskey's had the last 2 years. You go back to last week, and she started giving up a couple hits, 4 or 5 hits a game, which is a little bit more than we typically see from her, but this is classic Miskey form.
It's that changeup again, very effective for strike 2. It was half-heartedly swung at. So Miskey looking for another strikeout. And here comes the pitch. It's a good 0-2 pitch. A year ago, University Athletic Association Pitcher of the Year for the 2nd straight year. Now, I'm really jumping ahead of myself as she gets another strikeout, but she's on her way to, arguably, especially if the Spartans win the UAA again, to be the pitcher of the year for the third straight year. I wonder if anybody's ever done it 4 years in a row, or even 3.
Yeah, and Ron, you mentioned some of the numbers, too, are just astounding for Miskey. She's the only pitcher in the conference under 1 ERA in the UAA, and that's a .81 number. She's got 82 strikeouts in conference play as well.
I think today it's the best I've seen her pitch because even her fastball's got movement away from the hitter. Like that last pitch moved away from the right-handed hitter. Not only can she throw that rise ball, but that fastball can move away or into the hitter. And the changeup to me has been the huge difference in anything I've seen out of Lexi Miskey. And she's always been obviously very good. But that changeup today, the effectiveness of it and the confidence that she seems to have in it, has been a difference maker.
Yeah, and on top of that, you mentioned the movement in the fastballs. If you can, you talk about going back to last year, it's a lot of up and down, changing the plane of where the hitter's able to see it. But now if you can get that right-left movement in it as well, get that little twitch in that ball as it's getting close to the plate, makes it 10 times harder for anyone to get contact.
That's high and away outside for ball 3. This is an Emory team that came into today hitting .375 as a team, and in 24 games they had scored 172 runs. So they know how to hit it, and they know how to score it.
And we mentioned they had 6 batters over 300 on the year, and so far, again, just the 1 hit.
And that is called ball 4. So for the first time since the third batter of the first inning, Lexi Miskey has allowed a runner to reach first base.
Number 14, Lillian Ware.
Chang gets the walk. The catcher, Lillian Ware, will come to the plate. 1 out, 1 runner on for Emory. Eagles are down 6, 8-2, and we're in the top half of the 5th. Fouled back for strike 1. Ware grounded out to Potts at shortstop in her last at bat. She hits another one to Potts. It could be a double play. Cold, cold, cold Friday in early April here in northeastern Ohio. Miskey's pitch is high and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike.
And wants to settle down here, especially after giving up the walk. Don't want to get 2 runners on because this Emory team, Ron, as you mentioned, some of those offensive stats a moment ago, they can get going if they just get a little bit of momentum as quickly as we saw the Spartans get going in the second.
That evens the count at 2. Miskey on the day here in the 5th inning has 5 strikeouts. She's walked 2 and given up only 1 hit. Ware, the crafty catcher, facing a 2-2 count. Inside, nice play. Nice scoop and block by Caitlin Lamb behind the plate. No, that's Jordan Manwarren. It's Manwarren behind the plate. That 2 looks like a 4 with the fly ball to right field, and there's the out to the right fielder. So I said it was Lamb, then I said it was Manwarren. The 2 looks like a 4 with the way the straps of her chest protector.
13,
Would you not agree with me, Sar?
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It certainly does.
So Manwarren's 4, Lamb's 2. What do I know? 2 outs. Runner still at first. And at the plate, Natalie Swift.
And they would love to get a base hit. Just break up that streak from Lexi Miskey, get those runners moving. Even if it doesn't get you necessarily back into this game, it gives you something to look forward to tomorrow. You still got to play these guys 3 more times, so if you get some rhythm on the offensive end, it can carry over from the end of this game to tomorrow.
0-1 pitch is called strike 2. Lang, the last 2 pitches, has looked like she's been ready to take off. Let's see if she runs with 2 outs and an 0-2 count on the hitter. Miskey's pitch. Lang will stay tight, and it won't matter. Lexi Miskey gets her 6th strikeout in 5 innings. She's got smiles on her face as she heads to the dugout. We head to the bottom half of the 5th. If the Spartans can score 2, they can wrap this one up. It's 8-2.
So she was with them.
Leading off the bottom of the
4, 5,
5th
6.
inning.
So we're heading to the bottom of the 5th. The Spartans, if they can score 2, will be up 8 after 5, and they'll close this one out. And that's the goal, as it's a cold, cold Friday, and everybody would love to get back inside. Cohn's still on the mound. She came in to relieve. She came in to relieve for her teammate Mackenzie Duford in the last inning. First pitch is a swinging strike. So I had asked out loud to anybody if Lexi Miskey could win her 3rd Pitcher of the Year award this year and then do it again as a senior. Had anybody done it 4 years in a row or even 3? And Eddie Karakis, the sports information director here at Case Western, got right on it. And he found that they have only been naming Pitcher of the Year. The award has only been an award since 2017. So in the 7 years of its existence, 2 of those years were dominated by COVID when everything was wiped out. So not only has no one won it 4 years in a row, no one's won it 3 years in a row, and Miskey's the only one that's won it 2 years in a row. But as he further looked into it, when they named just the overall player of the year in the UAA, which they've been doing forever, there has been one player, as the 0-2 pitch is outside for ball 1, there has been one player in the history of the UAA who's won player of the year 4 years in a row, and that player happened to be a pitcher. Laurel Segarts from Washington University. In her 4-year career, she pitched 5 perfect games, had 7 no-hitters, and had an earned run average of 0.73. 4 years in a row, player of the year in the University Athletic Association. So Miskey can get 4 pitchers of the year and maybe equal some of those numbers. I don't know. The perfect games would be hard to catch. That's 5. And does Lexi have a no-hitter yet? Does not. So that's 7 no-hitters. That's dominance. 5 perfect games, 7 no-hitters, little fly ball, shallow center. Second baseman is under it. And that's an out. Grace Cooper catches it. The first out of the inning.
Now batting. Number 11.
Well, what a career. Laurel Segarts.
Yeah, that ERA is absolutely incredible.
So, Eddie, that was 2007 she wrapped up her career. So 17 years ago.
Just for reference, you mentioned Lexi Miskey has the Case Western Reserve Program record for single season ERA. That was 1.27. So we're talking about .73 for a career, for 4 seasons to be able to do that.
She is now an assistant coach for WashU. This is Bella Russo at the plate. That's a foul ball, strike 2. If you look at the standings this week nationally in Division III, the Spartans have moved up to number 6 in the country. 19 wins, 2 losses. They were 7 a week ago, so they've moved up a spot. Russo with an 0-2 pitch, and that's a swinging single to left field. Bella around first, but she'll stay there. So Russo with an out has a spot at first base for her Spartans. Back to the national rankings for a second. Trine, there are 10 votes for first place. Trine has all 10. They're number 1 in the country, 22-1. Salisbury's number 2. Linfield's 20-0. They're ranked 3rd in the country. East Texas Baptist is number 4, and Barry out of Georgia is number 5, and then the Spartans are number 6.
And if they take care of Emory this weekend, maybe 3 out of 4 at the very minimum, we could see them move up even more. This is a really good Emory team.
Caitlin Lamb with a end of the bat spinner back to the mound. That's an easy out for out number 2.
They'll move Bella Russo over to second, so the winning run still at the plate for the Spartans. That would end it after 5 innings.
Jordan and Warren.
2 outs. Man Warren at the plate. Cohen on the mound. Russo at second base. Jordan, 1 for 1. She's got a double. Scored a run, knocked in a run, and had a sacrifice in her last at bat. Wind continues to blow from left field to right field. Two games tomorrow, 1 on Sunday. Weather's supposed to be dry this weekend. Not going to be warm, but it's going to be dry. Game time temperature right now says it's 41 on the campus of Case. I can guarantee you it's probably feels like a 31, 36 out there, somewhere in the mid-30s. Change up. Man Warren laid off it. It's ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs. Cohen looks into her coach. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that was called a strike. That was in the left-handed batter's box. And the catcher framed it in such a way, the umpire gave Cohen strike 2. Yeah. That wasn't even close. I mean, that was
really stretching the strike box there.
Little spinner. This will be a tough one. And a nice play. Emory will end the inning. Cooper over to Hoyle, and we'll head to the top of the 6th. It's 8-2 Spartans. A pitching change for the Spartans. Now in the circle, Deb Mizra. Deb wears number 9. This is her 4th appearance of the season. She has thrown in 3 innings for Coach Henry. She's given up 1 run, it's earned. She's walked a batter and struck out 1 in those 3 innings, and her earned run average is 2.33. Mizra will face the top of the order for Emory here in the 6th inning. This is their leadoff hitter, Ashley Chu. Chu's been chewing on 2 strikeouts. She is 0 for 2, swinging and called, and she'll take ball 1.
And those corner infielders were flying in for a bunt.
Mizra's next offering on the outside part of the plate, too far outside. It's ball 2. Little flare, Potts going back, and she'll bring it in.
It's a lot different there from last week when we had the sun out on Friday afternoon. Talked about some of those players bringing in their sunglasses. That's one of the advantages of today's weather for these infielders.
Number 2, Paige Nellis.
And on Monday, if the weather's good, you will need more than sunglasses. You will need those eclipse glasses that if you put them on now, you can't see anything. I've got them, and I'm sure you all do too. They are just, it's total darkness. The 0-1 pitch. Counts now even at 1-1. This is Paige Nellis. Nellis 0 for 1, ground out to short in the 3rd inning, walked and scored in the 1st. Spartans trying to improve to 20-2 on the season. They are handling an Emory team that came in 16-8, 5-1 on the road. Two balls, 1 strike. Mizra's pitch, and that's a solid single to the gap in right center field. All the way to the wall. Jagoda's throw will come in, and with a stand-up double is Paige Nellis.
Now batting, number 18, Ellie Zare.
Zare back at the plate. Last time she was at the plate with a runner on base, she hit a 2-run home run.
Yeah, up until this point, that was the only hit of the day. And Zare extending the lead in the conference with her 6th home run earlier. Make this a little bit of a different feel to this game if she can score here.
Pitch from Mizra in the dirt. Handled nicely by Lamb. Zare with 6 home runs, 41 runs batted in. Just under 400 on the season batting average. Counts even now, 1 ball, 1 strike. Zare leads the team in doubles. She leads the team in home runs. She leads the team in runs batted in, and she's threatening to hit 400. Came in 392, and she's 1 of 2 so far this afternoon. Waved at 1. That's a strike 2, and moving down on a ball in the dirt is Nellis at third base. So Nellis now at third with just 1 out. Mizra has the count 1-2 on Zare. Quick hopper, back to Potts, stopped it, got the out, And they held the runner at third. That ball was hit so hard that Nellis really didn't have an opportunity to come home on it. That was a one-hop smoke shot to Potts at shortstop.
Now batting.
Yeah, and even Potts had to sort of double clutch it. It's a nice play to get that up and on time get the throw over to first so that you can't get the runner to advance.
So there are now 2 outs, and Grace Cooper, the cleanup hitter, is up for Emory. Dev Misra trying to work out of this inning. That's a fastball that moved away from the hitter for strike one. If you look at the UAA standings going into this weekend, you've got Case that's 4-0, and then everybody else except for NYU's 2-2. Ground ball, it's Biz Berry, scoop and throw, and we head to the top half or the bottom half of the 6th inning. Misra did the work. Spartans lead 8-2.
Carnegie's playing Brandeis. They got pushed tomorrow, so they're not playing there.
So we can close the book today on Lexi Miskey. Her official line will look like this. She'll go 5 innings, gave up 1 hit, 2 runs. She struck out 6, walked 2.
Number 13, Kella.
And she is in position to win her 12th game of the year in 14 decisions. Kella Jagoda, the leadoff hitter for the Spartans, will lead off this bottom half of the 6th. And Jagoda takes strike 1. So for Miskey, her season strikeout total improves to 106 in 78 innings.
And Miskey's chasing the program record she set last year. It was 207.
Counts even on Jagoda. 1 ball, 1 strike. A year ago, they played in 43 games. They made it to the opening round of the NCAA tournament, hosted here in Cleveland, right here at Mather Park. A weekend that they did not advance out of. And I know that that left a bad taste in their mouth that I am certain has lingered and still is there.
Yeah, again, it's a team that expects to be right back here that first weekend of the postseason and has expectations to get out of it like they did 2 years ago.
In that 2022 season, the Spartans were 30-12, and they won the UAA. And the 1-2 pitch to Jagoda is in the dirt for ball 2. But as Sar mentioned, they made it all the way to the Super Regional. So they got out of the regional, made it to the Super Regional. And then if you go back to the 2018 season, so in 2021 and in 2020, there was not softball because of COVID. Another foul ball counts even at 2. But if you go back to that 2018 season, they won 38 games. At the time, set a program record, the Spartans, for wins. They tied it last year. They didn't win the UAA that year, remarkably, but they made it all the way to the NCAA championship finals, and they finished 5th in the finals. Little spinner back to the mound. Cohen throws in the dirt, and Jagoda's going to go down to second base on it. So an error on the pitcher on a spinner off the front end of the bat. And the Spartans have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
Yeah, once again, it brings the winning run to the plate. Jagoda heads up play on the base running to go for it, too. Go for second, that is.
Yeah. Well, she sees everything in front of her on that type of play. She sees the bad throw. She sees where it went, and she knows where the backups were, the second baseman and the right fielder, and she knew she had plenty of time to get to second base. So here's Potts. Karen has grounded out to the first baseman 3 straight times.
And it would only be, as it stands, the second game all year that she hasn't gotten a hit. And she's been on the base paths every game as well, except today.
Except today. She has had 2 lazy rollers and 1 smoke shot to the first baseman, Ella Hoyle. Hoyle made a great play behind her. I mean, the ball was behind her when she stabbed at it and got it on a 1-hop ground ball. And the other 2, Potts just rolled over her own wrist, got out way early on the pitch, and just hit simple little ground balls. So you know Karen would not only love to get the hit, she'd love to get the hit to end the game, and then it would be a blessing or a bonus that it would continue.
Yeah, and that's what happened last Friday in the second game. She hit a home run to make it an 11-1 victory over NYU to end that one.
Potts, fly ball, right field, and it's caught in right field. So she just didn't get enough of that softball to push it out of here. Paige Nellis with the play in right field.
But it advances Jagoda to third. Essentially a sac fly situation there. Brings up another tough part of that lineup. Spartans would love to drive in Kella Jagoda from here.
Kai Gross is at the plate, and if you're looking for an RBI, look no further than the woman at the plate right now. Gross leads the team and runs batted in.
Yeah, and she's already got one today, so she's looking to add to that.
She is 1 for 3 with a walk. A single in that 6-run second inning with the run knocked in. Pop-up, that's not going to get it. Shallow, infield, shortstop has it. Lang, and that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and that's not enough. If you get that at least out to center field, you can get a runner to come home.
Number 20, Stevie Rieger.
So it's left to Stevie Rieger. Or we're heading to the top half of the 7th. The 1-0 pitch to Rieger. And that's high for ball 2. They are pitching around Stevie Rieger. And, you know, it's kind of smart. I mean, you've got 2 bases open. Why give the number 4 hitter, who's been red hot, something nice to look at, especially Stevie's 2 for 2 today with 2 runs batted in.
Yeah, and with the chance for her to end the game, might be better off going at on deck Elena Steffes, who was 1 for 2.
Yeah, they did not give her a pitch to even think about.
Yeah, it looks like an intentional walk.
So Rieger's down at first, Jagoda's at third, and this brings
Now batting number 25, Elena Steffes.
Elena Steffes back to the plate. Savannah Gazda hit for Steffes in the 4th. And Steffes is back at the plate now. She's 1 for 2 this afternoon. She had a single and infield single to the shortstop in the second inning, scored a run, and struck out in the third.
And you can almost guarantee Rieger's going to steal.
And there Stevie goes, the throw down, and the winning run's going to come home.
Yeah, that high throw. That's twice in this run that Kella Jagoda's advanced on bad throws, on errors. That's how she got to second, and now it's how she gets home.
So it's not the winning run. They need one more.
Yeah, hit run again. Hit run again.
So that's the 9th run.
Yeah. 8 hits. Yeah, and then they have an error as well.
And the second pitch to Steffes.
And now because of that high throw as well, a base hit will do it here.
Steffes on the year, 6 runs batted in. 26 at bats coming into today. Inside, and that's ball 3. So Cohen with 3 straight balls to Steffes after walking Stevie Rieger on 4. She has now thrown 7 consecutive pitches off the plate. And make it 8.
No, was there a strike there?
I think there was a strike. I thought he went 2 and 1.
All right, I guess there's a strike. I have to be honest, the home plate umpire has been very hard to read this afternoon.
3 and 1. Yep.
Counts 3 and 1.
That's really pushing. I mean, that strike box seems
That
to
is
have
so
been
far
getting
outside.
stretched. Yeah, the last couple innings, we've seen it get further and further away from that right-hand batter's box.
Fly ball, left field, back near the track and catching it and wrapping up the 6th inning is Natalie Swift. So we'll head to the top of the 7th. Spartans 3 outs away from their 20th victory of the year.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 10, please. Now catching for Chase Western Reserve.
So Abby Rizzuto
Abby Rizzuto
is now behind home plate for the Spartans of Case Western Reserve as we are in the top half of the 7th here from Mather Park.
Oil.
Ron Yance, Sarzucci, along with you today. We'll be with you all weekend. 2 games tomorrow, 1 on Sunday. 9-2 Spartans. They are 3 outs away from winning their 20th game of the year. This is Ella Hoyle at the plate, the first baseman, who's played real well today for Emory. Dev Misra in the circle for her second inning in relief of Lexi Miskey, who was outstanding today.
2-0.
Miskey in line to win her 12th game in 14 starts. She'd be 12-2 with a win today. Ground ball, this is Potts. Across the field to Russo, and 1 out in the top half of the 7th. Hoyle's down 6-3.
Now batting, number 33.
And this is a Spartan team. We talk about their pitching, and it's really been for the last 2 years the majority just Miskey and Hosey, and it's a good sight to see if your coach Henry gets some of these other pitchers in. If Dev Misra comes in and shows that she can play at a high level as well, it certainly gives the other pitchers a break, and it certainly helps your defense all around.
Misra came into this afternoon with just 3 innings pitched, as that is a low ball for Sonia Klein. So she'll almost double that today. She'll pitch 2 innings today. She'll have 5 on the season. But Jenna Yaklich is the other pitcher besides Hosey and Miskey who's thrown in double-digit innings this year. She's got nearly 13 innings pitched in her 7 appearances in the circle for the Spartans. But you're right, Sar. It's Miskey and it's Hosey. And they are very, very good. The 1-1 pitch. And that's Russo with the long glove of the first baseman to pull that one in.
And she's made some really nice plays there as well, stretching out on the bag, getting off of it to get some, cover bags and things like that. But that's a nice catch by her, turning around like that. It's hard to track that ball over your shoulder that way.
So 2 outs for Misra and her Spartans. Abby Rizzuto behind the plate. Played her high school softball at Walsh Jesuit. She was all academic in the UAA a year ago. Actually, she's been all academic in the UAA the last 2 years. Beautiful pitch from Dev Misra, and it's going to be called, I think, a ball.
I'm going to say she didn't swing on that. I didn't even see a check with the first base umpire.
Talking to Coach Henry about it right now. I'm giving up. Okay. The home plate umpire has been hard to figure out today for me. Maybe it's just me. And that is strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. So the Spartans are 1 strike away from win number 20. Kayla Lang at the plate. 0 for 1, pop up and a walk. On the inside part of the corner. And Misra ends the game with a strikeout.
Final score
8-2, 9-2. 9-2 Spartans. They knock off the Eagles of Emory today. The Spartans finished with 8 hits. They didn't commit an error. They scored 9 runs. They had 6 in the second, 2 in the fourth, and 1 in the sixth. Emory had just 2 runs. They came in the first on 1 hit, a 2-run home run. And they ended with just 2 hits overall. They committed 3 errors. They dropped to 16-9 on the year. The Spartans improved to 20-2, Sar.
Should be set up for a great weekend because these are 2 teams that can certainly get going. The Spartans showed that in the second inning today. We'll have 2 new pitchers tomorrow, and I'm excited to see if Emory's offense can start going back to the way they played earlier this season. Should be a fun doubleheader tomorrow.
I'm looking for the start times tomorrow right now. And are they noon and 2?
I believe noon and 2 tomorrow right here at Mather Park.
I'm pretty sure as well, but I just wanted to confirm. Noon and 2. So we'll be back at high noon tomorrow from Mather Park. For Sarzucci, for Fast Eddie Karakas, I'm Ron Jans. Thanks for watching. Spartans with a 9-2 win. They are now 20-2 on the season. Have a great Friday night, everybody.